How did Iblis, who was once a crowned king over all the jinn in the lower heavens, devoted in his worship, honored by his Lord, become the cursed devil, stripped of all his glory, cast out, and transformed into the greatest enemy of Adam and his descendants until the day of judgment? Would you believe me if I told you that Iblis, the devil, was once a worshiper of God and devoted to him, and that he was of a higher status than any other creature, even surpassing some of the angels in his devotion? Surprising, isn't it? Let's go back in time to a period millions of years ago, when the earth was in its early stages of creation. It was a unique kingdom, inhabited by legendary and strange beings. Allah created primitive and beastly creatures long before the jinn and humankind, and some scholars believe they were among the ancient beasts of the earth that went extinct, beings closer to wild beasts or deformed entities than to rational life. Bloodshed and chaos filled their kind, driven by their savage nature. Then Allah sent the jinn against them, who destroyed them completely and inherited the earth after them. God decided to create a new race to inhabit this world. He created the jinn from smokeless, scorching fire, long before the creation of humans by thousands of years. Allah created them to inhabit the earth in peace and to worship Him in obedience. He granted them free will, just as He later granted it to mankind. The first of the jinn that Allah created was Suma, who became their forefather and the origin of all the tribes and clans of the jinn that came after him. He was wise and faithful, always calling others to the worship of Allah. The jinn lived freely on earth. They worked, built homes, and had communities. Among them were believers and disbelievers. Even among the believers, there were the righteous who were sincere in their worship, and there were the corrupt who disobeyed their Lord. They had minds with which they thought, and hearts that swayed between love and hatred. Their characteristics were derived from the nature of the fire from which they were created. Allah granted them extraordinary abilities that surpass human capabilities in many aspects. For instance, they can travel from one place to another with incredible speed, as if they were moving winds. This became evident during the time of Prophet Solomon, when he asked his assembly who could bring him the throne of Queen Bilqis, which was located in a faraway land. One of the jinn promised to bring it to him before he could even rise from his seat. Among them are those who dive into the deepest parts of the seas without being affected by the pressure or environment. They do so with ease and speed. They also have the ability to extract hidden treasures buried deep beneath the earth's layers. Some of them are skilled in construction and sculpture, and this too was seen during the time of Prophet Solomon, as they built palaces for him and carved statues with great expertise. Some of them ascend to the first heaven to listen in on the affairs of the heavens, trying to overhear divine revelations and the news exchanged among the angels about the people of earth. Because of this, the disbelieving jinn would often claim to possess knowledge of the unseen in the future. One famous incident involves the jinn of the tribe of Nosaiben, who boasted about their ability to rise to the heavens and eavesdrop on the heavenly messages. However, after the revelation of the Qur'an to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Allah assigned flaming meteors to burn and block them from ascending to the heavens ever again. Since they are hidden from human sight, they have the ability to whisper, suggest thoughts, stir desires, and plant chaos and deception within the human mind without any physical interaction. But it is important to note that this does not mean they can control human actions or force anyone to do anything. Their influence is limited to whispers, which may be acted upon by a weak person or ignored by a strong believer. They also have the ability to take on physical, visible forms, such as different animals or even humans at times. They can even see the angels in their true forms. They can see us and live among us, just like we live among each other, yet we cannot see them. Allah created among them Iblis, whose name was AZAZEL. He was raised upon the worship of Allah, learning obedience and faith. He was one of the believing Jinn and held a high status among his people. They honored him for his virtue and knowledge, and Allah appointed him as their king and granted him dominion over the earth. AZAZEL would call his people to worship Allah, to populate the earth with righteousness, and to avoid sins and polytheism. I would like to point out that some people believe Iblis was from a class of angels who resided in the lowest heaven, and that his name was Lucifer before his disobedience. But this is completely incorrect. Allah clearly stated in the Qur'an that Iblis was from the Jinn, not from the angels. Another proof is that angels do not have the ability to disobey or choose between right and wrong, while both Jinn and humans were given that free will by Allah. So how could Iblis disobey Allah if he were truly one of the angels, as that claim suggests? He did not follow the path of corruption that his people took. Instead, he devoted himself to the worship of Allah, establishing justice and calling others to the path of truth. He reached a level of obedience that no other Jinn had ever attained before him. But as the Jinn began to expand across the earth, some hearts began to grow restless. They turned against one another, spilling blood and fighting for power. Many of them disbelieved and abandoned the worship of Allah. Among them appeared devils, rebels, and powerful demons who were deceived by their strength and abilities, thinking they could do anything they wished. They split into tribes and engaged in many bloody battles. Each tribe believed it was the strongest and most deserving of ruling the earth. They persecuted the believing Jinn, killed many of them, and oppressed the rest. Because they had the free will to choose between good and evil, many chose the path of wickedness and misguidance. Their own desires led them astray, and they became arrogant, thinking they had power over the earth and everything within it, forgetting that it was Allah who had granted them these extraordinary abilities in the first place. The believers among them continued to call them back to the right path, and among those believers was Iblis, who remained steadfast in faith and obedience. But the others insisted on their corruption, disbelief, and stubborn defiance. They disobeyed their Lord and forgot that Allah had created them for worship and to cultivate the earth. Instead, they led many of the Jinn into rebellion and disbelief. The earth became engulfed in corruption and overwhelming chaos. What was once a flourishing life turned into complete devastation. The state of the earth changed from light to darkness, plunging into a dark era the world had never witnessed before. All signs of life on earth faded. Its features turned into ruins and ashes, and flames spread everywhere. As their corruption increased and spread across the land, as is always the case, with disobedience and disbelief comes punishment. Allah commanded the angels to descend to earth with a mighty torment and terrifying retribution, to cleanse it from this widespread corruption and subdue the devils and demons who had become agents of chaos. A heavenly army of angels who never disobey Allah's commands was prepared. The army of angels marched forth with absolute determination, obeying the command of Allah to unleash His wrath upon the disbelieving Jinn. The skies filled with mighty angels, appearing like vast clouds that covered everything beneath them. The light of the sun faded, replaced by the blazing light of divine punishment. Then fiery stones and torrents of molten fire rained down upon the Jinn and their dwellings, destroying their cities and burning multitudes of them to ashes. The angels killed many, drove others into exile, and destroyed a great number of them. Those who survived fled to the mountains, remote islands, and desolate places, hiding far away. Their condition changed. Once prosperous and powerful upon the earth, they became scattered and exiled across its corners. Their unity shattered, their ranks divided, and they received their just punishment for disobeying their Lord, for spreading tyranny and disbelief. They became humiliated and subdued. They fled from the earth, their faces marked by pain, sorrow, and regret. Yet a group among them did not take heed, nor did they repent from their disbelief. Instead, they remained hidden, waiting for a cursed leader to rise and lead them once more, not to fight among themselves this time, but to wage war against another creation, a race they had no knowledge of, one that had not yet been brought into existence. As for the believing Jinn, they gathered what remained of their kind and what little they had left from the destruction, and they chose to live far away from the disbelieving devils. They remained faithful to Allah and took heed from His wrath and retribution. Then the angels came to take Iblis with them, sending him to the heavens so that he could worship Allah with them, far away from the corruption and ruin of the earth. Indeed, Iblis grew in devotion and sincerity, and he attained a high status and closeness to Allah. He was even granted a place among the closest of the angels, worshiping Allah in the heavens. He surpassed many of them in devotion, for he worshipped out of free will and choice, whereas the angels were created without choice, inherently obedient to their Lord. As a reward, Allah honored him, elevated his status, and granted him a distinguished position. Iblis remained in this blessed state for a long time, but the soul is the greatest enemy of the faithful, always calling its bearer to sin and dragging him toward desires. Soon a struggle began to emerge within Iblis, a battle between pride and humility, a battle that could lead its bearer to either destruction or eternal bliss. So, which would prevail within him? As time passed, Iblis began to reflect on his high status among the angels, and a sense of pride and greatness crept into his heart. He developed a sense of superiority over the Jinn who lived on earth, and asked himself, who could possibly hold a position greater than the one I have attained? And so, corruption began to seep into Iblis's heart. Allah, who knows the unseen and what lies hidden within hearts, knew what was growing inside Iblis. He decided to test him. One day, the angels noticed that something had been written in the preserved tablet. It said that one of Allah's servants would commit a grave act of disobedience, and that Allah would cast him out of His mercy forever, curse him, and condemn him to hell. The servant's name was Iblis. The angels were astonished and wondered among themselves, who is this being called Iblis? None of them knew that Azazel was the one destined to become him. This declaration struck fear and awe into the hearts of the angels. Though they were created to be obedient, they feared they might somehow be the one. Each one of them trembled, anxious not to be the one meant by Allah's words. But Iblis, his pride and arrogance blinded him from fearing the test. Instead of humbling himself, he began to question in proud defiance. Who could Allah possibly be referring to? Surely not me. In his heart, he excluded himself from the trial, confident in his elevated rank before his Lord. This matter continued to echo through the heavens until the time came, the moment of Allah's promise, the great test. Allah informed the angels that He would create a human being from clay who would one day dwell on earth and become its successor. The angels were astonished by Allah's words, not out of objection, for they are commanded to obey and have no will of their own, but rather out of wonder. They questioned the reason behind creating humans, since they themselves worship Allah perfectly and continuously. They feared that humanity might spread corruption on earth, just as the Jinn and devils had done before them. But Allah told them that He has wisdom beyond their understanding, and that they do not know the unseen. They were unaware that among humans would come prophets, messengers, righteous people, and scholars, those who would worship Allah as He deserves to be worshipped. Allah then commanded one of the angels to take a handful of soil from the earth. He added water to it until it became clay, and Allah shaped it with His own hands. It became like pottery, hollow and still without life, and it remained that way for a period of time. The angels, along with Iblis, silently watched in awe and curiosity as this lifeless figure lay motionless. Iblis, in particular, circled around the body constantly, inspecting it with unease. He entered from its lower part and exited from its mouth. He found it to be hollow and began to ponder, his heart filled with doubt and anxiety. He asked himself repeatedly, "Why has this been created? What will become of it?" And then he said in his heart, "If I am given power over you, I will destroy you. But if you are given power over me, I will disobey you." In that moment, Iblis forgot his Lord and ignored the fact that Allah knows what lies hidden in hearts and sees what is concealed deep within. But Allah knew exactly what Iblis was thinking. He was fully aware of the pride and defiance building inside him. What Iblis did not realize was that this was the greatest test of his life, and it had already begun. Then Allah breathed into Adam from his spirit, and Adam moved for the first time. He sneezed and then prepared to rise from his place. Allah commanded the angels, and Iblis among them, to prostrate to Adam. All the angels immediately fell down in prostration, obeying Allah's command and honoring Adam. All except Iblis, who stood arrogantly, filled with rage, envy, and hatred toward Adam. Here, the great honor that Allah bestowed upon Adam became evident. Allah had shaped him with his own hands, breathed into him from his spirit, commanded the angels to prostrate before him, and taught him all the sciences, even that which was hidden from the knowledge of the angels. It's important to clarify that some people mistakenly believe that Adam was a primitive caveman who knew nothing. This is completely untrue. It is said that Adam was taught astronomy, medicine, engineering, physics, the names of all living creatures, the names of his descendants until the day of judgment, and even the names of all the angels. Allah created Adam with advanced, profound knowledge that would help him and his descendants harness the earth's resources and live more easily, knowledge he would gradually pass down to his children. However, it is believed that much of this advanced knowledge was lost during the Great Flood in the time of Prophet Noah, and some of it was deliberately hidden so that it would never reach us. Then Allah asked Iblis why he refused to prostrate to Adam and obey his command. Iblis, in arrogance and pride, replied that he believed himself superior to Adam, saying, "You created me from fire, and you created him from clay." So Allah cursed Iblis eternally, expelled him from his mercy in the company of the highest assembly, condemned him, and promised him eternal hell. Iblis then asked Allah to delay his punishment until the day of judgment, thinking he was being clever and would find a way to live forever. But Allah, who knows what lies within the hearts, granted him a delay, not until the day of judgment as many assume, but until a day known only to Allah. For Iblis is not immortal on earth. He will die one day, and his evil will come to an end. Then he will be cast into the fire for all eternity. So Iblis swore to Allah that he would mislead Adam and all his descendants. He vowed to use every means possible to divert them from obedience to Allah and drive them toward disbelief and defiance. His hatred toward Adam's lineage burned deeply in him, and he promised to deploy his allies from among the jinn and humans across the earth to assist him in this mission, so that just as he was deprived of paradise, he could deprive them too. But Allah told him that he and all who follow him, whether jinn or humans, would suffer the most severe punishment in hell. Meanwhile, those who worship and sincerely obey Allah would enter paradise. And so began the second great test, this one for Adam and his offspring, after Iblis had already failed the first. Adam then felt loneliness, so Allah created Eve, Hawa, from one of his ribs to comfort him and be his companion. They lived in happiness and bliss in paradise. There is disagreement among scholars regarding the nature of this paradise. Some say it was the eternal paradise promised in the afterlife, while others say it was a special paradise created by Allah on earth for Adam and Eve. Allah commanded Adam and Eve not to eat from a specific tree, a form of test. He warned them of Iblis, who bore deep hostility toward them and would try to make them fall into disobedience so he could cause them to be expelled from paradise. Then Iblis appeared for the first time to tempt Adam and his wife. He continued urging them to eat from the tree and swore to them that it was the tree of eternity, claiming that if they ate from it, they would become angels. Eventually, after persistent whisperings, Adam and Eve forgot Allah's command and ate from the tree. Suddenly, their nakedness was exposed to them, and they began gathering leaves to cover themselves, feeling immense regret and shame. Their Lord spoke to them, reminding them of his command and their disobedience. Adam and Eve admitted their mistake and sincerely asked for forgiveness. Allah, in his mercy, accepted their repentance, but informed them that they would now descend to earth to live, build, and dwell there. He warned them again that Iblis and his allies would remain their sworn enemies until the day of judgment. This test was a preparation for Adam and his children for the worldly life, a constant struggle between good and evil. It was a clear warning that Iblis is mankind's first and last enemy. He was the cause of Adam and Eve's removal from paradise, and his goal is to always push humanity away from Allah's mercy and paradise, just as he was cast out in humiliation. And here we see the stark difference between Adam and Iblis. Both disobeyed their Lord, but Adam quickly repented, confessed his sin, and returned to Allah, while Iblis stubbornly persisted in pride and disbelief. He refused to humble himself or seek forgiveness. This teaches us how dangerous arrogance, pride, and envy are, traits that can lead a person to disbelief and eternal torment. As the Prophet Muhammad said in a hadith, "He who has an atom's weight of arrogance in his heart will not enter paradise." Allah informed them that they would now descend to earth to live, build, and dwell there. It is said that Adam descended in India, while Eve descended in the Arabian Peninsula in the city of Jeddah. As for Iblis, he descended in the kingdom of Basin in Iraq. Adam and Eve walked alone, each in a land far from the other, until they met again in Mecca at Mount Arafat. Iblis, on the other hand, was expelled from the highest assembly in the bliss he once enjoyed. He descended to the earth disgraced and cursed. God granted him a corrupted offspring to aid him in his absolute evil. The accursed Iblis decided to build himself a throne upon the sea, imitating the throne of Allah Almighty, which rests upon water. Soon he gathered his followers from among the disbelieving Jinn, the rebellious devils and the evil ones. Together they began to plot their mission to misguide Adam and his descendants and lead them astray. Thus Iblis transformed from honor and elevation to disgrace, curse, and humiliation. Once one of the most devout believing Jinn, he became a corrupting force on earth, just as he had allowed corruption to grow in his own heart. And that was the beginning of the end, the beginning of new unexpected secrets in the rise of a new conflict between mankind and the devils. The age of humanity had begun, a long test between guidance and misguidance, between obedience to God and the whispers of Satan. And the journey continues until the day of judgment and the time of reckoning. At the end, my brothers and sisters, if this matter interests you and you want to know more, if you enjoyed this content and the way these stories are narrated, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to follow more historical facts and events that were distorted. Stories that reveal the true history of mankind on earth from the beginning to the end.